Drake is suing Kendrick Lamar's label over Not Like Us.
Why?
Drake's claiming Kendrick's distribution label bought over 30 million bots to make Not Like Us look bigger than it was.
Is that it?
He's just mad he lost the battle!
Oh my goodness. Y'all won't believe this tea I'm about to spill. The burning question on everyone's mind right now is, will Drake ever learn to take an L gracefully and just move on? Because honey, the word on these streets is getting hot. Apparently, Drake is out here trying to warn Kendrick and SZA to stay away from their Toronto tour dates during Kendrick's upcoming Big Steppers national tour. But wait, it gets even spicier. It's not just about them performing in his city that's got Drake's panties in a twist. It's the timing of it all. Kendrick and SZA are scheduled to take over the Rogers Center from June 12th to June 13th. And get this, it's just days before Father's Day 2025. Ever since fans made that connection, they've been dragging Drake through the sewers like yesterday's trash because, honey, Drake's questionable parenting has been one of Kendrick's favorite punchlines throughout this whole beef. Now, rumors are swirling that Drake is having a full-blown meltdown because Kendrick taking over his city might just be the final nail in the coffin for his career.
Kendrick put out an album today, or I really want to call it a tape. Some people want to call it an album. Not gonna lie. Bro, I remember listening to Untitled. I was like, this is boring. I'm going through it. I thought he kept my attention for the majority of the album. He threw in some disses. I like Drake, and I'm not mad at the little disses he put in there. It kept me interested. It felt like he had a chip on his shoulder. I like when he said that, he was talking about, tell me why you should be the greatest of all time. Like, I like that type of thing.
Let me tell you something. Kendrick has made it his personal mission to keep that foot planted firmly on Drake's neck. And after all these diss tracks and that surprise album drop, baby, it looks like he's nowhere near done. Euphoria and Not Like Us were already brutal enough, but Kendrick made it crystal clear he wasn't finished with Drake in his latest album, GNX. And let me just say, after listening to this album, we might as well crown Kendrick as the meanest rapper in the game right now. Here's the tea. Kendrick didn't even bother with a rollout for this album. Even his own label was caught off guard, only finding out days before the release. All this man did was drop one little snippet, and minutes later, bam! The whole album dropped. Now, fans were already expecting some Drake shots, but what they didn't see coming was Kendrick completely ignoring Drake's disses and dropping his own, the Heart Pant 6 inches, where he didn't even breathe Drake's name. Chile. Drake was probably seething about Kendrick basically treating him like he doesn't exist. But hold on to your wigs, because that wasn't even the shadiest part. In Whacked Out Murals, Kendrick threw shots at Snoop Dogg for taking Drake's side. Spitting, Snoop posted tailor-made I prayed it was the edibles. The ultimate shade though, adding Toronto to his tour dates, Drake's fans were fuming, calling it the most disrespectful move Kendrick could pull. They were even coming for SZA, calling her a traitor, as if Drake hasn't dissed her multiple times in his own songs. But here's what's really got everyone gagging. Those Toronto shows are scheduled for June 12th and 13th, just days before Father's Day on June 15th. Now, this could be a coincidence, but baby, people are having an absolute field day with it because Kendrick has been throwing nothing but shade at Drake's parenting. Remember in Euphoria when Kendrick rapped, "Why would I call around trying to get dirt on dudes? Y'all think my life is rap. That's BS. I got a son to raise. But I can see you don't know nothing about that." Waking him up and tell him to pray and giving him tools to walk through life like day to day, teaching him morals, integrity, discipline. Listen, man, you don't know nothing about that. And don't even get me started on Meet the Grams, where he went in saying, "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man. Your dad is not responsive, and you're a good kid that need good leadership. Let me be your mentor since your daddy don't teach you is." Just when you thought the drama couldn't get any deeper, some eagle-eyed fans noticed something else that's got everyone shook. The tour ends on June 18th, the same day XXXTentacion passed away. Now, this could be just another coincidence, but fans are convinced Kendrick is sending a message that he knows something juicy about Drake's alleged involvement in X's death that he's keeping under wraps. As y'all remember, Drake was linked to XXXTentacion's passing because of their messy beef right before X died. We're talking diss tracks and threats flying back and forth. But then fans started connecting some very suspicious dots when Drake's lyrics started popping up with what seemed like hidden messages about X. Like in BS with 21 Savage, Drake dropped this bomb: "If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again." allegedly referring to when X went online to blast Drake. Then in I'm Upset, Drake came with, "End up getting loose and getting pictures from my ex, SMS X. That's the only time I ever shoot below the neck." But here's where it gets real spicy. Just months before his passing, X was out here making posts saying, "If anyone tries to kill me, it was Drake." When X's case finally went to trial, guess who got called as a witness? Drake himself. Obviously, they thought he knew something about what went down with X. Now, what makes this whole situation even more intense is Drake's reputation for blocking his enemies from showing up in his city. This man has made it his mission to make sure that when rappers he's beefing with try to perform in Toronto, their shows mysteriously get canceled. Take Schoolboy Q, for example. This tea is scalding. Schoolboy Q, who signed to TDE, where Kendrick used to be until 2022, was supposed to perform at History, a venue Drake co-owns in Toronto. The show was set for July 18th, but literally 24 hours before showtime, boom, canceled for reasons beyond his control. And Drake had the audacity to hop on Instagram and troll Schoolboy Q right after. He posted a pic wearing blue slides, referencing Schoolboy's song, and rocking a Free Yayo shirt, just like Eminem wore at the 2003 Grammys. Speaking of connections, 50 Cent and G-Unit seem to be Team Drake in this beef. Yayo even went on Vlad TV throwing warnings about showing up in Canada while beefing with Drake, like Drake's some kind of mob boss or something. Schoolboy Q wasn't having any of it though. He took to Twitter spilling all the tea. "They just canceled my show in Toronto. Canadian police don't want nobody from TDE performing. And Top was just with Wayne and Baby SMH. Party Next Door just had a show at the Palladium." Then he came with the threats saying, "If we wanted to get y'all, we would have just did it. Now when somebody get hurt, don't cry." When a fan brought up the Rick Ross situation, Schoolboy clapped back, "I don't think you know who I am. In fact, I don't think a lot of you know who I am." But chilly, Schoolboy must have gotten a call from his PR team because he quickly backtracked. "I never said I'ma kill somebody. I'm saying if we wanted to crack it off, we could have SMH. Rap and move on. Playing tough can get somebody hurt. It's all good. I'm a soccer dad. And honey, let me tell you, Schoolboy Q isn't the only one who's had drama in Canada while beefing with Drake. Remember what happened to Rick Ross earlier this year? Rose and his crew got ambushed by OVO supporters in Vancouver during the Ignite Music Festival. Ross had just finished his set by playing Kendrick's Drake diss track Not Like Us, which did not sit well with Drake's fans in the crowd. Next thing you know, videos are circulating of Rick supposedly... Now, Rick later hopped on social media to clear the air, saying he didn't actually get beat up. Someone just threw water in his face.
Hey man, I'm thinking about the event that happened over there. Let me tell you something. When the first dude stepped up to Rose, the little short fat one that looked like Bam Bam Bigelow from wrestling, when he stepped up, and then I squat down in his eyes and told him what I said. Basically, boy, if I hit you, I'm gonna see everything you ate for the last 2 days. His balls dropped out of his. He never said another word. He never did nothing. He was a straight buster. Then the behind him said, "I know MMA." And then I got hit with a drink. I'm still convinced ain't on. Somebody said, "Rose, the tried to punch you. He hit you." I say, "Nah." He had to throw a drink, because throwing a drink would have been way more disrespectful than screaming, "I know MMA!"
But child, that was enough to get people talking about Drake sending his goons after Rick because of their ongoing beef. Drake didn't say anything directly, but he sure was quick to like that now deleted Instagram post about Rick getting arrested and warning people not to come to Canada if they've got problems with Drake. This isn't even the first time Drake's pulled these strings. Remember the mess with Meek Mill? That beef got so intense that Drake allegedly made sure Meek couldn't set foot in Toronto to perform. It got so wild that Toronto City Councillor Norm Kelly jumped into the beef, throwing shade at Meek, all because Meek had the nerve to call Drake out for not writing his own verse on RICO. Norm Kelly really hopped on Twitter saying, "You're no longer welcome in Toronto, Meek Mill." Chile, Meek wasn't having it. He clapped back, "Aye, white man, what gives you the audacity to tell me I can't come somewhere over me voicing my opinion? You sound like a thug." Kelly tried to backtrack real quick, saying, "Didn't say don't come, just puzzled why you diss a Canadian hero a week before coming to his city." The way Drake got a whole politician to do his dirty work had fans gagging. The funniest part? When Drake and Meek finally squashed their beef, Kelly tweeted that Meek was welcome back in Toronto. Like, "Who made you the gatekeeper, sir?" Now with Kendrick and SZA's tour dates announced, word on these streets is that Drake's about to send his goons after them because he can't stand the thought of Kendrick taking over his city. And baby, let me tell you why Drake is extra pressed. Kendrick is about to sell out the Rogers Centre, the biggest stadium in Toronto with a 50,000 capacity. The real gag is that the Toronto Blue Jays, who call Rogers Centre home, are out here pushing Kendrick's tour dates on their social media. Meanwhile, the Raptors are staying loyal to their boy Drake, who, by the way, has never performed at Rogers Centre. Now Kendrick's about to snatch that opportunity right from under his nose. You know Drake is in his feelings about all this because instead of hitting the booth with another diss track, he took this beef straight to the courts. He's out here accusing UMG of using bots to artificially boost Kendrick's streams. According to Drake, UMG is part of some grand conspiracy to embarrass him and bring him down because obviously there's no way he could actually lose a rap battle fair and square.
Drake claimed that the only reason that Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us got as big as it did is because Universal Music Group and Spotify conspired against him. And to cover up its tracks, Universal Music allegedly fired employees that were associated with or perceived to have loyalty to Drake. According to court documents, when the song was released back in May of 2024, Universal Music and Spotify entered into an illegal scheme that included bots, paying radio stations to play the song, aka payola, which is prohibited by the FCC, and other shady methods to blow up the song. They say, quote, deceiving consumers to believe that the song was more popular than it was. Drake's attorneys claim that a whistleblower publicly went on a podcast and announced that he was paid via a third party by Kendrick Lamar's label about $2,500 so that he could use bots to get the song to hit 30 million streams within the first week. And then again, they did the same thing for the music video.
The streets are living for Kendrick right now. Comments are flooding in like, "What I like about Kendrick, he doesn't do anything halfway." It may seem like overkill, but Kendrick knows you must pull out all the roots. Another person wrote, "What's crazy about all of this is that Drake fans are saying SZA is ungrateful because Drake made her like what? Just because she was on Slime You Out? They are so delusional." So what do y'all think? Is Kendrick doing too much? Or is Drake really about to try and ambush Kendrick and SZA when they pull up to Toronto? Comment down below and stick around for this next juicy story.